Oh, let's start the session now. Officially, formally. You know there are five senses we have, right? Sight, sound, smell, taste, touch. I'm not talking about the mind right now, but sight, sound, smell, taste are the five senses, right? You know that each of the sense somehow magically is mapped to parts of the body. Touch, for example, parts of hand and feet, for example, are mapped to every part of the body. Organs. Remember, all of you have seen hand reflexology chart, right? There is something called iridiology in which the entire iris is mapped to all parts of the body. There is another science, I don't know the name, in which every portion of the ear is mapped to every part of the body. Which is why when you press the ear in certain specific ways, you can activate or stimulate certain organs and respectively certain chakras, right? Which is why, by the way, if you look at the ear, it looks like a fetus with the head below and the body above. Which is when you press this, it actually activates the brain. Very, very scientific, highly, highly scientific. This is a principle by which Super Brain Yoga was developed, or what is called Topu Kalmam in, I think, in the South India, right? In which you do whatever, right? You basically press the earlobes, activates the brain. When you go down and you breathe in, it pulls a specific energy called sex energy up to the brain to really upgrade it qualitatively, right? So, touch, sight, sound, and smells. I'm sure the nose also mapped, but I'm not sure exactly how is it mapped. I don't know right now, but we'll come to that. Taste. If you already know, the tongue or certain portion of the tongue is already connected to certain parts of the body. For example, depending upon where discoloration or problem in the tongue is taking place, those specific, for example, large intestine is probably the front portion of the tongue, or sides are represented by some other organ, some kidney or something. Top 5 or 6 are definitely classified when it comes to reading of a tongue. And some people actually, specialists, not medical doctors per se, but nadi specialists or some other specialists, they actually investigate the tongue very thoroughly, not for the sake of only color, but like which portion of the tongue has greater issue than the others. Based upon that, they determine which organ is probably undergoing problem right now, right? Mapping of organs, sense organs to various parts of the body. Let's come to the nose for a while. Before we go to the nose, there is something very beautiful called healing with food. Ideally, in Indian diet or a proper Vedic diet is supposed to be a healing regime. The food should heal you. Food is not supposed to only fill your stomach and for taste buds. Taste buds are secondary. Everything is secondary. Stomach filling is not even the goal, because you only fill half the stomach with food, right? The remaining quarter you fill with water, and remaining quarter you just leave it like that, right? Nobody follows it. I don't follow it, but I know what the diet says, right? Now, I like food, right? Now, let's talk about it. So, if you think about it, food is supposed to heal. Food or specific kinds, so every food has specific kinds of energies. Those energies interact with your system and they release certain specific kinds of pranas. They get fed into your system. Aromatherapy is slightly different. Aromatherapy, imagine it's something like this. There are different kinds of aromas. I'll also tell you why it's becoming a problem, by the way, these days. Different kind of aromas, different kind of smells are there, by the way, which trigger certain specific points in the brain. You know that a real wild rose does not really smell. Very minimum smell actually. Nature has not really designed it for smell. The wild honey does not really smell. There's nothing to smell in that. Some flowers, yes, marigold for example smells, right? Some of them do. But the ones that we consider, wow, they don't actually smell. The tree barks, they smell. Nature has specific kinds of smells hidden in specific portions of, nature, its own pieces in clay. Like sometimes if you break leaf of a rosemary, a uniquely amazing smell will come which may not come from the bark or the shoot of the tree at all actually. Depending upon where you target, the smells will show up from there, right? The problem is this. Sorry. These smells, first of all, if taken in right quantity and right dose, can actually act as a very powerful healing agent. Because those smells are nothing else but specific kinds, quality, and type of energy. It's like in solid plane, you have solid, liquid, and gas. In solids itself, you have metals, kinds of metals. You have the tree, the bark, kinds and kinds of it. You have stones. You have crystals, gemstones, with all kinds of solids, right? Then you have man-made solids, and you have God knows what not inside of this, right? Now, taking a step forward, you have liquids. So liquids, many kinds available in the nature. Gaseous, exact same things, right? Man-made are different, natures are different. Now, aromatherapy, I want to talk about this topic because I'm telling you what dangers also lie, and I think you should be aware of it. Awareness is more important than you can do something about it, right? So what happens is when a specific smell, or by smell I imply a specific kind of energy and specific quality of energy, type and quality, like goes inside the system, it does specific changes and it releases specific hormones. Hormones. That is the work of smell in our system. What do we do these days? Loaded. We are constantly in the state of overstimulation. Constantly. To such a degree that the brain has almost lost sense of what is supposed to be normal. They think its body is dumb animal. After a while, it will keep shouting, but you don't listen. You go by what ad says or whatever they say, and eventually the body will start to recalibrate, and that is when the danger zones lie. When body is recalibrating to the new normal now, that's when you're losing touch with what nature has designed versus where you are stepping in now. Now, aromatherapy, taken very as a pure science, is a powerful science because with the right kind of energy, in right quantity, right proportion. For example, sometimes an aromatherapist will mix tea tree oil and this and this in specific quantities and allow the energy to be breathed in while you're deeply relaxing. That does some fantastic things, by the way. Don't try completely on your own. Read the whole science, then try it. Don't play with the science, right? However, when it comes to all these artificial smells which are not actually nature generated, for example, have you smelled basil essential oil? Smells nothing practically. Practically, very barely any real smell is there, but energy is freaking really strong. Have you ever tried keeping two basil bottles right next to each other? I mean, if it's right over here, this much energy, okay? If you just keeping two bottles next to each other, it multiplies by 10 times. These are mysterious stuff, by the way. And so if you've tried doing some experiments, you will know that these are living entities or living beings. They have a powerful consciousness of their own actually, and they work even without your personal interference. They work very powerfully on you. This is why when you go near a specific tree, specific plant, or specific like people, right? It doesn't just give you oxygen, which is the science says, it gives you specific grade, specific quality of energy, which is what the system absorbs, and there is a gentle, beautiful smell that comes along with it. Eucalyptus, perfectly amazing smell. Have you, of course, all of you would have, right? Eucalyptus, but eucalyptus-based perfumes are completely distorted and not good, definitely not good for the body. In general, what I'm trying to say is, don't overstimulate your systems. Now there's, good smell in cakes, good smell in foods, good smell here, good smell there. Luckily, our phones don't have smells, otherwise we'd be like stimulated like crazy. But I hope you get these central points that don't overstimulate your brain. Let the brain be what the nature designed it to be. This is very important because otherwise, if you lose what the brain is supposed to be, then you will always seek assistance for problems that were created by you completely without knowledge. And do not believe in ad campaigns. They don't want your benefit. Nobody wants your benefit. Nobody in the world out there who's selling you product ever wants anything good for you. I'm serious about this also. You have to be very discerning about what you invest in, what you buy, and what you bring into your system. A simple rule is if you won't drink it or eat it, don't put it on the skin. Simple rule says that. I follow it. I'm asking my wife to follow it also. Things are changing, by the way. And the fact is, if you want to stay a very happy, healthy lifestyle, don't put things in your system which you won't eat or which you won't drink. Very simple. Like my wife used to put aloe vera, actually proper aloe vera, on the skin whenever back then. And she says, and I found it really amazing because you can actually eat that. Aloe vera is purely edible. And I respected that so much. I was like, this is my next favorite thing to tell if I will ever speak about a topic like this. This is many years back, but I really liked what she did with a practical a plant. Something which I advise to all of you is, if you don't want to eat or drink something, like imagine opening your mouth and putting a spray of perfume. That's unthinkable. Why putting it on the body? The body does everything then. And through the nasal cavity, it goes straight to the brain. Just be careful about these things, it's very important. Now, I'll give you a short trip as to what actually happened in the Kumbh Mela. How many of you went to the Kumbh Mela this time? 1, 2. Only 2? Really? Okay, I don't actually believe 60 crore people came. Big hype. Really big hype. Half of India can't go, that's impossible. It's unthinkable also actually, right? I think somewhere around 10 to 15 crores would have come, that too in the heightened days. And I'm telling you for a reason also. Through this experience, I'll tell you a process and then some sense will come out of it at the end of it, okay? So, supposedly I heal myself on a very regular basis. Like I keep all the organs, all the chakras shiny and clean all the time. So the body doesn't fall sick in 3, 4 years, something like that, right? And I'm really happy I do this in the first place. Okay? I meditate also and everything else, right? Plus I don't take chances with my health a lot also. Like a pizza is like once in 6 months, you know. So diet is also reasonable and everything is good. I'm telling you for a background. I don't expose myself to too much of cold water and cold showers and like keep everything normal and reasonable. Okay. Having covered this background, me and my wife decided to go to Kumbh Mela, I think on the Shivratri day, which is 26th of the February, which we just went like, so 5 Shahi Snan are there. You guys know what Shahi Snan is, right? The prime 5 days when the resonance of the energy is very high, and on those days you take a dip is ideally said to be more favorable compared to other days. Yeah. By the way, it's my first time, so I'm not really asking all of you to go next time or whenever. Only if you feel like, then go. From this experience, hopefully something will make sense. So what happened was, we decided a place, we booked a place 400 meters distance from the point that, so there's a technique in pranic healing called scanning. Scanning is a technique by which you can scan and figure out whatever you're asking for. You have to be sufficiently detached. And there is another technique called clairvoyance. Seeing beyond the physical realm. These are subjective techniques, which means it is possible if you're not detached sufficiently, you may get different answers. So we tried scanning for over 2 days, 3 days, completely detached. My wife is a partial clairvoyant, so I asked her to model and see something, and then I was scanning. We were trying to find out actually where is the apex of the energy, the center of the energy in the entire Triveni. Exactly there. We want to be closest to that in the first place. See, if you know a technique, you try it out, no? while believing people in the first place, right? So fancy thing was we scan. I said, "Ki shines. Probably somewhere around over here. Why don't you see remotely and examine?" And she said, okay. So we did this experiment for about 1 or 2 days. Every time the result came exactly the same. It's like, okay, it's exactly closer to this one bay area here. So we don't actually need to take a boat to go anywhere because it's a right where nearest bay is the closest to the actual. So in your mind, picture a great angelic being, a very senior angel in the inner world, channeling down an extremely large, humongous pillar of energy in where the three rivers meet, or something eccentric to it, not exactly in the center, towards closer to a bay, and imagine the energy coming as a shaft of pillar down and spreading in a very wide radius. I'd like you to picture it like that. There is not just one, but there is a hierarchy of angels doing the work. Right? It looks like this in the inner world. Right? So we scan, and she's like, this is exactly over there. And it's fine. So we booked the place about 400 meters from there. We can, 25th evening, we'll reach, we'll go see the place in the night, and then we'll come back, we'll go early in the morning again. So, according to the plan, we booked, and when we went there, very luckily, the place where we booked our room was not congested place at all. Roads were really congested. The place that we booked was really good, calm place. There were college students and other people from foreign also. It was a nice place actually. So when we 20th evening, I told my wife, come at school and see the bay properly before we decide to go in early in the morning. And because we thought of going at 4 o'clock in the morning, 26th, still Shivratri day, but early in the morning, and then taking a dip and then coming back. What happened was, 25th we went, and I took her intentionally knowing it's one bay before it. I knew it because I saw the map very closely. It's one bay before. It's like, oh, Dikisha, we are here. And she's like, I don't think it is this place. I can see the energy over there. And I'm like, that? See, she's not a map reader, okay? You have to understand this. She's not a map reader. She's not somebody who's very good with places and this. But when she saw something very accurately, live in a place over there. I was like, yeah, that's smart, let's go there. So when we took her to the actual bay, where the bathing ghat was there was this massive shaft of energy descending right a little distance from the bay, very powerful one. This is exactly why, and by the way, the energy was so strong that even if you were standing at the bathing ghat, no bath, you would be getting super purified just by standing at the ghat. So me and my wife were saying, why don't we scan people that, see what happened when they take a dip. Nothing was happening because people were already standing over here, so you scan them, it's the same. So we were like, okay, let's scan them 2 days back when they were at the house, and now, wow, major differences. This is how, so doing pranic healing is exactly like taking a dip. With pranic healing, you control which chakra, how much energy, what. Over there, you say, God, you do everything, and then you go inside, right? I mean, see this is like a cleansing of the chakras of the organs, right? Basically that. And what I remember was that the energy bodies were so cleansed when people were coming out, they almost felt like crystals. Really clean energy bodies, like super clean crystals, felt like that, by the way. Normal people, by the way, no meditators. Ordinary people, and this is exactly an opportunity for most of the ordinary people to really take a dip, means to cleanse. When they say cleanse their sins, no real sin can ever be cleansed. It's not possible. Don't let anybody tell that to you also, by the way. What is being cleansed is tendency to commit a sin. Which basically means the negative thoughts, negative emotions, the negative patterns, they get washed out, they get cleansed. The tendency to commit a sin or bad stuff, that gets washed out. This is what we saw, by the way, happening in, as a live event in, I think we stood at baths in 2015 for quite some time, examining all of these things. We saw that there's a really big line for the boat. We're like, we're not going for the boat at all. There's no point. We came back that evening, all was good. By the way, I remember correctly that there was one area where people were coming from, say, left side, and we had to go straight to our area, wherever we were staying. The force of people was so much, like you couldn't see a spot of a person which was blackened, which you can say, you know what, come, we can even try going this way. It's such a heavy force of people were coming that you had to like really have the police to stop them for just for a second for these people to pass by. And there were also quite a lot of people in this direction also, but their force was so much. This is the same place where the stampede happened. For 4 days, the crowd did not move. That many number of people were there on the, which was that 27th or 8th of January? Mauni Amavasya, thank you, yeah, that is the one. That is the day when the 4 days period when people did not even move. It was that thick of a crowd. Now, don't let this get anywhere near your head, because it's just one of those exceptional days when this happens, right? I'm not saying that go on the Shahi Snan day, I'm just saying go on any one of the day. Now the experience I will tell you of the actual dip of the day goes like this. I asked my wife, you know what, before we went, what do you see is the purpose of us going over there? Because as a clairvoyant, you can see things which scanning will take you maybe God knows how many months, right? Like suddenly a picture will show and then you will investigate that further, right? So I asked her a few questions and we were able to zone in, okay, this and this, primarily the first one seems to be a purpose of actually going over there. So something like that. I will not tell you what exactly, but something like that, okay? So when we went there, on 26th early in the morning, oh by the way, 25th when me and my wife we were going, we came across so many people just waiting at the, like a little distance from the bank. We asked the police guy, "Kya chal raha hai? Why are they going inside and taking a dip?" They said they are waiting for Shivratri. And I'm like, I told my wife, oh, that's going to be a problem, because if everyone goes to Shivratri, then we will not even find a space to stand. So I said, we had a plan to go at 4, we'll go at 6 a.m. It's still okay, that's okay, but I think at 4:30 a.m. my sleep broke. I'm trying to talk to myself, let's go to sleep, but no, the sleep was not coming. Wide awake actually by that time. And I told her, come, let's go now, like let's get up, let's go now. And it took us about, I think, short while to reach, still stacked with people. But here's what happens. Whenever you take a dip in the future, whenever you go to a place like this, where there's a holy water, whether it's in Amritsar or wherever you will take a dip, make sure you do a proper prayer first. This is what we did. We did a proper invocation, we did a proper prayer, not just to Supreme God and the heavens, but to the great being who was the host at the time of the Mahashivratri, or that whole Kumbh Mela, right? We prayed specifically to that particular being, please clean us from this, everything, right? I think X number of dips you take inside. I'm going to do something interesting also today, by the way. X number of dips. X matlab, I took about 11. I think my wife took about 14 or so. Doesn't matter how much you take. X number of dips you take, whatever pleases you. With every dip, when you take, make sure, wherever you go by, wherever there's a holy water, make sure that you pray for that one thing to be removed, to be cleansed from your system. Don't ask to give. That is not the point. The whole point is to cleanse so the soul can fill you in. Right? Ask something to be cleansed or something to be removed from your system, like, for example, pride. Very hard to get out. Ego. Almost impossible by alone to get out of the system. Anger. People who have issues with doubt, who have vanity, who have problems, God knows what. Make sure that you ask specific things to be removed from your system in places like this. Huge cleansing power, and they can wash your system off very thoroughly. And these prayers in places like this are answered almost instantaneously. So instead of asking more, ask to let go more. Remember how in certain Tirupati, those places, people go and donate their hair? They give. They don't. Of course, you ask also, but the point is not asking. The point is, what can you offer? God doesn't need your hair, of course. What will God do with it? Imagine God opening the door and there's hair everywhere, every day. It's just no point, right? What happens ideally is when you can offer something that you love or what you have been attached to, when you let go of that, then space becomes for something to come, which was waiting to come. That only is possible when you let go, which is why in spiritual tradition, there is a whole emphasis for first few initiations to let go, empty. Stages of emptying are there. Until you can empty yourself to a certain degree, you cannot be filled. There is no way to fill. What will you fill yourself with? More pride, vanity, ego, more knowledge? Knowledge doesn't serve any purpose after a while on the path. It's just retracting and not adding any value. What actually means, what you need to do on a spiritual path is to unwind, to reverse whatever you've done up until now. Like unlearn. Ramana Maharshi was a great proponent of unlearning. He would always say, if you've come here to learn, please go somewhere else. If you're here to learn, then stay. So if you're here to unlearn, that's what we will help you with. Unlearning. Unlearning are things you've accepted from society which don't serve any purpose, they're not true. There's no basis in believing any of those things. And those bases, whatever you believe, are purely based upon your material life. They don't serve the soul at all. Those things you unlearn if you want to grow. Pretty much that, right? Okay, so let's get back. So it's very ideal that I told my wife, okay, you know what, make a specific one prayer to let go of something while you take a dip, and take a dip every time. Take a dip and then pray and then take a dip. Now I said, okay, don't just take a dip with head and nose a little bit. I said, there's a chakras in the body, right? How many chakras are there that you guys know of? 7, 8, 11, 12. Where is the 12th chakra? 1 feet above the head. 12th chakra is where your soul is lodged. It's not inside the physical body, of course. Physical soul has a aura, soul aura. Your body is inside that. So I told her that whenever you take a dip, your 12th chakra should also be inside the water, not outside the water. When you take a dip, the head, the crown chakra, and the 12th chakra both should be inside and facing the being. When you do a dip next time, wherever you go, make sure you follow something exactly like this. With the great respect for the being or the great angel that is doing the work for millions of people, you give great respect, invoke for blessings, and when you take a dip, it's not just the body. Body is least important. Soul and the chakras are the most important bit which have to ideally be cleansed. Make sense? Now, the side effects are this. Many of the people who've taken a dip have blamed water purity for their falling sick. That is not true. I mean, part of it may be true. I'm not saying no. Water is not very clean. I agree with that. What happens is this: if you ask to let go of something, like I'll tell you what I asked. I asked for letting go of the illusion of separateness. It's really hard to let go of because you believe in a world in which I and you are separate beings. It's a construct of the mind, and it can only be transcended when soul is powerful enough and the mind can see through this illusion of separateness. This is really hard to get by on one's own. Okay, let's seek some help. I knew exactly I wanted this, so I asked specifically for this. And I took the tips, and I realized when I came back, till about 4th or so, my work is usually there, so nothing affected the work. Everything was fine. No problems because of the water quality. For sure, no. But after a while, the next day, 5th onward, throat starts to act really badly. 5th, I think, to 12th or 13th, till day before yesterday or so, I took almost no sessions in the night or the morning. throat was so badly jacked up. You know why? One, one of the possible reasons is, one of the possible reasons, throat is what is in spiritual traditions called the abyss. Abyss. What is the meaning of abyss? Abyss means what?
Huge valleys or
Yeah. There is an infinite dark valley which you can't see down. Abyss. Throat chakra is called the abyss. Throat chakra, by the way, also controls the throat and the organs over here. Throat chakra is also the bridge to the soul, which is why it was too early to disclose it in the previous centuries. In Kabbalistic tradition, you will not find throat chakra listed in the diagram at all. Too powerful to open up to the public when public is not ready. Throat chakra will form the bridge when you practice higher meditations to the soul. From there will come down true power, real power, power to manipulate anything. I actually mean anything. Power of the God, basically, right? From there will come down the love of the God and the intelligence of the God. You are the God. The bridge will be made from the throat chakra. A cleansing throat chakra probably looks like this, is what I thought to myself. I'm sorry. So, my wife also underwent whatever some things that she asked for, and cleansing happens. The most important point is that the thought processes after this junction, they change to some degree if you're aware. If you're not aware, well, good, dear, come back, enjoy your life. If you're aware of whatever you asked for, and if you know exactly what may come in the future, you will actually have noticed changes in thought processes, which are not that easy to get by because you were following a specific pattern for 10 years of your life, and now something suddenly shifts, and if you're aware of it, you'll be able to gauge it also. That is something which is absolutely unique about an experience like this, which I will recommend you at least one day in the 50 days ka jo tenure is there. Go take a dip. On the non-important days. Oh, let's address the 144 thing also, by the way. I don't think it was the 144th year, no matter what the news said. No, it doesn't sound like it actually. Because the resonance wasn't that high. So what we did was, soul is a timeless being, right? Where is actually acted up, I'll tell that to you also. Soul is a timeless being. Soul is not bound by time in any way. So what we did was, I came back from there, and we organized a session online in which we took everyone in the session to a time when this would have really happened. The real 144 thing would have happened. Soul can travel back in time for it's all a doable thing. We took the soul back in time, all the souls back in time, and made them do a dip for about 5-7 minutes, I think, and then I was guiding certain purifications at that time. Right after that, I think my throat, it blew off from that time onwards. So, those experiences are really legendary, by the way. They are not ordinary experiences. If you get to have experiences like this ever, don't miss them. And meditation is, if you are meditating a person, you can have this experience every single day if you want, but it's too heavy to handle. The bodies can't handle such immense power with great ease, by the way. Which is why you have to prepare your body to a certain degree for a few years before you can handle such massive energies without much load backs on your system also. So we came back, everything was fine, good trip and all. Eventually certain lessons which we've figured out over a period of time after the Kumbh trip was that go on those days when there is no load. Not too many people coming in the non-important days. It's perfectly okay. The being is still the same. There's no problem. It's still the same being, yeah. And also make sure that you at least go once in whatever time period happens, once in 3 years. Make sure it's a rhythmic schedule, right? And I hope the story actually helped you to understand the inner mechanics of what happens, and hopefully you're inspired to go there in the days when it's not so hodgepodge. Go, like be good, go and have your fun. Right? Some things may definitely get purified which are very hard to remove by your own self. Because of the additional power that is flowing through in the system, through the mechanism at that time, can actually help you overcome obstacles which will take you 30 years of your life more to remove, can be removed in one single dip probably. So save time, be intelligent. God is giving you the opportunity, why not use it, right? Simple. Alright, so I had a couple of more topics, but we don't have time anymore right now. So, everyone, how many of you new here? Only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5. Raise your hands like this, everybody. Everyone, raise your hands like this. At the chest level, where the heart chakra is. Okay, heart chakra is right over here. Everyone, can you see this? Heart chakra is right over here. Raise your hands at the same level, not the throat level. This heart level. Okay, yeah. This is called the blessing position. When I will say raise your hands in the blessing position, you will raise your hands exactly at this level. Okay, not the throat. Somewhere right about here, okay? The chest level. There are two important chakras, keep your hands down, two important chakras. The heart chakra is right over, everyone touch here, center of the chest. Heart chakra looks like a lotus flower, opening outside, rooted inside, okay? Crown chakra opens upwards, everyone touch here, rooted inside somewhere, clear? We'll be chanting a mantra called Om Mani Padme Hum mantra, in between on and off, or the mantra Om, depending upon what I feel like chanting at that time. And we will be blessing the earth. Blessing the earth is usually done by raising the hands, imagining a small earth in front of you, and being aware of the heart chakra, for example, and pouring down the energy coming from the heart to the earth. Same with the crown, same with heart and the crown. Clear? Simple? Yeah? After the blessing session is over, we will do in continuation chanting of the mantra Om. 7 ohms or 9 ohms, okay. Importantly, when you chant the mantra Om, if you want to really practice meditation, I'm going to ask you to watch yourself chanting Om. Watch yourself doing the technique of chanting. Don't immersively chant, that is hypnosis practically. Watch yourself chanting. Watch yourself doing the activity. Be aware of it. Dhyan. Meditation is dhyan, right? Watch yourself doing it. 7 or 9 times. We have a so every Om chanting, then a small 2-second break, then Om, then break, then Om, then break 7 times. Okay. In that break, be very aware. In the chanting, then break. Chanting, then break. Be very aware. Be very aware. Awareness will lead you to expand your consciousness. Okay? After 7 or 9 Oms, we will have a period of stillness for about a minute or 2 minutes. Then we come back, we bless Bangalore, your houses, your careers, your jobs, everything, your goals, everything. Clear? Alright, so everyone stand up. Exercises. Clockwise. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Reverse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Next side to side. Left and the right is only one. So set 1, 2, both sides. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Upper body twist. A little bit, bend your knees a little bit, okay? And start. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way back, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Have a seat. We'll start the session. I would like all of your phones to be silent. No vibration mode, please. Preferably airplane mode. No alarms also. No alarms. Phones in silent. Absolute silence. If the phone rings in between, that's bad karma, and we don't want anybody to have a, a negative karma coming out of the session. All right, everyone, sit to yourself. The day you become, I've read it in the books. I have no personal experience of it though, but if you're already there or if you're getting there, it's good. Human beings stay in the head, cerebral area. Those that have realized stay near the navel area. So that's why when you do breathing, become aware of the breath coming in to this region, going out, breath coming in all the way down to the abdomen area, slowly exhaling, close your eyes, back straight, be aware of the breath coming in, be aware of the breath going out, breath coming in, and the breath going out. Breath coming in, breath going out. All right. We will do an invocation before we start the actual session. To the Supreme God, to the Great Divine Father and the Great Divine Mother, thank you for your priceless blessings, for your divine light, divine love, divine power, divine healing, guidance, mercy, help and protection. Thank you. To our great spiritual teacher, to all the great spiritual teachers, to all the great gods and goddesses, to all the great ones, we very, very humbly thank you for your great blessings. We thank you so much. Thank you. Now I'd like you to recall a very happy memory from your life. One good memory, like the birth of your child. How was the meditation session for all of you? Was it good? Was it peaceful? Did any of you see light in the meditation today? That was one of the goals, by the way. If you see light, raise your hand properly. Good. It's actually good, by the way. It takes a very long time in a usual practice to see the light, but doing in a group meditation, it's much faster. Physical group, by the way, not an online group. Online is also okay, but physical is the preferred one. But light can actually be experienced. By the way, brains are of a different type. Not all brains can register the light. For example, suppose so many of you are over here, some number, okay? The amount of light which actually came was still almost 80%, 85% of you. But the ones that could actually see the light, because brain is of a specific quality, was actually only various number. Because the brain is of a specific quality, that doesn't mean the light didn't come in. Light came in full volume actually. And that light will manifest as clarity of decision making, sorting out things in life, having a much clearer perspective in life. Taking decisions would be so easy with just huge amount of light in the system. And it's harder to dupe a person who has chakras and aura filled with light, which is why it's a very, very good idea to meditate on twin hearts early in the morning. So you carry the whole energy throughout the day, and wherever interactions you do, whatever form of communication you do, the light is carried forward. It's a light of truth, light of honesty, light of righteousness, light of which carries love in itself. It's a combination of everything. That's a way to generate really good karma in life. Think about it. Your all interactions are filled with so much love and light. The karma you by the way, all of you who study some amount of Vedanta know that all the interactions generate karma. Am I right or wrong? Better be good ones, no? Than bad ones, right? Imagine talking with stress. No point, right? Imagine talking with hatred. Imagine talking with love on the other hand. Kindness, generosity, truthfulness, good karma. And good karma means good life. Good karma means good luck. Luck is created by karma. Luck is not a random factor. There's nothing called luck as a random factor. It's created by karma. Alright? So, I just